I want to have Elisha come on up. There was a group of Tallgrassians at Kansas Leadership Center this past week, fulfilling part of our leadership grant. You can move that forward, yep. So the couple people that are not pictured here that were there, Ricky and Emily Grieve, apparently they had to roll out before the group photo. So I've heard it was great. It was a wonderful time. We have 4 spots remaining for any Tallgrassians to take part in the program that Elisha will share about called Your Leadership Edge for 2020. And then we hope to get more in 2021. So at this point, it will be first come, first serve for any Tallgrassians. If you're interested at all, talk to me. I hope to communicate more details about that. So let's give it up for Elisha, our Sprouts coordinator, among many other hats that she wears. So here's Elisha Hillegeist.
Hi, guys. I'm really excited to share just a couple minutes on my experience. I had the privilege of attending the Kansas Leadership Center's KLC Leadership Edge. It was a 2-day training in Wichita this last week, and I actually went with 7 others, like you see in the photo. So it was Dave and Jen Geldart, Mara Stever, Ron Goodman, David Renberg, and Ricky and Emily Grieve. If you were there, could you raise your hand? Just so people who are new. See, I went with all of them, and it was so much fun. So I really hope you take the time to ask them their own experience, because their voice is just as valid as mine on this, and I think you would gain a lot by hearing their voice and their perspective. I think for me, it would be really hard to overemphasize the impact it had on me just as a human, as a wife, as a mom, and of course as a staff member here at Tallgrass Church. The goal of the training was to educate and empower everyone who attended with the knowledge they needed to be a leader regardless of their position or authority within their organization or community. One of the big catchphrases was, anyone can lead at any time, but it might look a little different. Anticipate and accept the risk associated with that, which is really hard for me. I'm very risk averse. And experiment with ideas until you get the outcome you want. That idea was huge for me because I often naturally believe not only that the risk isn't really worth it, but that my voice or my place within an institution or community isn't nearly as valuable as others who I perceive to have more authority or more, they're just more visible than I am. They have a bigger opportunity to share than me. I mean, the thought I have is, what do I have to offer, really? I'm a mom, mainly, not a CEO. And I know there are CEOs in this room, but that's not me. I'm not one of those. But actually, I have a lot to offer because I have a lived experience that no one else does. When we were at the KLC, we learned that authority doesn't grant leadership. Leadership mobilizes others to initiate change. Looking at change as an opportunity to expand your bandwidth. I mean, I'm standing up here expanding my bandwidth, my personal comfort, stepping out my comfort zone to share my experience with you all. What does it look like to be a leader? It looks like paying attention to look at the different factions, which, I mean, they use that word there, but group. Look at the different groups that are present within any kind of community and getting to know their values and their fears. It looks like standing in the gap, which is what I'm doing now. It looks like initiating momentum, getting people excited about something that you are really passionate about, even when I don't think it's my place to do that. So I'm like, well, I don't know. I think something would be really good for this group, but is it really my place to initiate that change? And a really big idea that they pushed really strongly was, whose job is it really to make your community vibrant? Whose job is it? It's not my job, at least that's what I normally think, but actually they're like, well, it is. That is your job. But you taking leadership in that, it's going to look different than you think leadership might look like. So I came away kind of feeling on fire, really. I felt empowered to be the leader that God has made me to be, even though I really don't feel like I am one, a lot of times. And being okay with my idea of leadership isn't what my leadership looks like, but just taking that advantage. So I encourage you, whatever you do, to learn how to lead while doing it, because the world really needs you. So if you're in here and you feel a little bit of interest in going, I would say do it. I mean, as a teacher, I went to a lot of professional developments, but there was just nothing like this. I wish all things that you would go to would be this powerful, because it was amazing. So, yeah.